Okay, sports fans, we live, baby. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I am your host, OG the Beats, here with my co-host, as always, Chilltown 32. What's popping up?
Here, what is it? What it is?
Man, we got a lot to talk about today. Pack show. I got on my Eagles hat, but I'm still a little bit upset at my boys and how we cut up on Monday Night Football. Live on Monday night in front of the whole world. My Philadelphia Eagles get embarrassed by the Dallas Cowgirls. Yeah, I said it. The Dallas Cowgirls.
Here we go. Here we go.
We get embarrassed by the Dallas Cowgirls. I got a lot to talk about this. I couldn't get into it like I wanted to on TikTok, so I'm going to get into it today on the Sports Behavior Podcast. I appreciate y'all being here, and I hope y'all have a good time because, damn it, I'm going to have a great time today. We got a lot to get into. Starting off with my Eagles, 21-41 was the final score. My man Jalen Hurts did throw for over 300 yards, but damn that was in garbage time. I'm not even looking at those numbers as something to even consider being something to talk about or discuss. Short to Quez Watkins on the go route early in this game threw a pick. We did get it back. Hargrave forced the fumble in the end zone. But guess what? We had no offense for the entirety of the game from that point. No offense until the Greg Ward touchdown. We had no offense.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell are the Eagles doing. Ezekiel Elliott ran wild on us. Now, I know we missing Brandon Graham, our defensive end. One of the best defensive ends in the league if you asking me. Right? Mm-hmm. Ezekiel Elliott ran wild on our asses. It seemed like when Zeke touched it, it was all power. Then he say, I want a little breather. Here come Tony Pollard. We get no breather. They get breathers. We get no breather. The perfect combination of thunder and lightning. Remind me of USC. Lindell White, Reggie Bush. That's what it looked like out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like pound the rock. We couldn't do nothing. And it's an offensive lineman's favorite task to do. Run the football. Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday got into it. Why? Because he felt like the coach wasn't running the football enough. When the ball is hiked, when the ball is snapped, the offensive line pushes back to embrace contact. But guess what? That's when you passing the ball. But when you running the football, the offensive linemen are the ones that get to engage. That's what they like to do. They want to engage. Can we whoop some ass? And that's what the hell the Cowboys did to us live on Monday night in front of the whole world to see. They whooped some ass. I'm not going to lie. As great as our front fours played in the past two games, we played like shit against these Dallas Cowboys. Point blank, period. Dak goes for 238, 3 touchdowns. Light work for Dakota Prescott. Light work. But the biggest thing that I want to discuss, something I thought we got away from with Doug Peterson, was our inability to attempt to run the football. Miles Sanders is averaging 5.2 yards per carry this season. Every time he touches the ball, he gets half of a first down. In this game, he had 3 carries for 27 yards. Nick Sirianni, what the hell are you doing? I thought this was going to change coming from a run-first offense with the Indianapolis Colts. I thought we got away from Doug Peterson, throw happy ass. Nick Sirianni comes in here, and the first time Miles Sanders touches the ball, it goes for 21 yards. So I'm like, oh, feed the beast. Let him eat. Man doesn't touch the ball again for the whole half. The Dallas Cowboys had 13 first downs in the first quarter. That's a record. They had more first downs than we had plays ran on offense. I'm so disgusted with my team right now. It's crazy. If we're going to do this, do it to the Saints. Do it to the Cardinals. Do it to the Ravens. Don't let the Cowboys come in here and do this to us. I'm ashamed to be an Eagles fan right now. This is despicable. Somebody told me I had to take my hat off. I'm damn near thinking about it. But you know what? The only good thing I get out of this, Jalen Hurts. Look, Unc say, so I'm going to tone it down. Jalen Hurts, this is only his 7th start in the National Football League. So all y'all that's laying it thick on my quarterback, Y'all need to fall back because he got what it takes to be a starting quarterback in this league. 7 starts. Like I say, even though it was in garbage time, he did throw for over 300 yards. He is a threat on the ground. But Nick Sirianni needs to draw up some shit that caters more towards this running back that we got. We got 2 good running backs in the backfield. Miles Sanders is averaging 5.2. He was 5.6 last year. He run the ball 2 times. We get a first down. So please implement into the game plan some schemes that allow Jalen Hurts to not only use his feet, but Miles Sanders in his backfield to use their feet to take some pressure off of these wide receivers and this quarterback's arm, please.
All I'm asking you to do, Beast, is I ain't asking you to tone it down. What I am asking you to do, because I know how you feel about your boys, and particularly to lose to the Cowboys. Like, if the Giants would have served y'all like that, it really wouldn't have been that big a deal. If Washington would have served y'all like that, you wouldn't really be tripping. But the fact that it's the Cowboys, I can appreciate your frustration. However, all right? However, I want you to relax. And the reason why I want you to relax, just give me a second, Beast, because I know that you ready to jump on these.
My ears is waiting on what you got to say right now. I need to hear this.
Well, first of all, I want to start the conversation with how sharp Dakota looked. How sharp did Dak look yesterday? 21 for 26, right? 238 yards. Second game in a row that he's had an 80% completion percentage. Second game in a row. Wow, did he look awesome, right? Shoved the football down our throats between Pollard and Zeke. 150 yards between the both of them. All right, I can appreciate this logic, no doubt. And with them running the football and with them moving that offensive line, Schultz was the recipient of that. CeeDee Lamb ate. All of these guys ate. All right, I can appreciate that. However, let me enlighten you on a couple of things, my man. Well, first and foremost,
make me feel better
Dak is 11-1 in primetime games against the NFC East. All right. So if that was Washington, he could have done the same thing. If that was the Giants, he could have done the same thing. And what's the narrative on the NFC East?
We the worst division in football.
Kind of whack right now, right? All right. So let's not now. What is Dak against the rest of the league when that's going on? Yeah, not so much. Yeah. But against the NFC East,
he's dominant. He looks dominant.
Right. Absolutely. They're gonna come down to earth, B. So let's
But my thing is, even if the Cowboys do come down to earth, I still feel like they're gonna win the division by default. We're not good enough to pose a legitimate threat against the Cowboys in this division. Like, we just not ready. They got 8 new pieces on defense, and one of those pieces was Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs was amazing in this game, and we all know these guys went to Alabama together. Jalen Hurts,
correct.
Devontae Smith, Trayvon Diggs. They know each other. They all do homework on each other. They practice against each other. It seemed like he had Devontae Smith's number. Like, he went to coach and say, look, I'm checking Devontae Smith. I'm following him everywhere he go. He couldn't get rid of Diggs. Everywhere Diggs went, Devontae Smith went. Or everywhere Devontae Smith went, Diggs went. And it's like the pick six, people saying, oh, Jalen threw 2 interceptions. Well, look, the first one to Watkins was definitely Jalen Hurts' fault. No doubt about it. He underthrew a 9 route in a cover 3 scheme. So you got room, all the room in the world to throw this 9 route. You aim that ball.
And he fell, too. Don't leave that part out.
That's on the pick 6. I'm talking about the first interception. He underthrew the 9 route. If he just aims for the pylon and he puts it on the outside shoulder, it's 6 points. But he underthrew it.
Facts.
Whatever, mistakes. It's his 7th start. Then we go to the speed out, which is the play you talking about. The speed out. Devontae Smith slips, falls. You see him on the sideline talking to Smith after the play, like, what the hell happened? Devontae, like, I slipped and fell. Well, that's not Jalen Hurts' fault. At worst, it probably don't get completed. It maybe gets knocked down. And we talking about living to play another down versus it going the other way for 6, completely shifting the momentum. My heart dropped to my ass when I saw that play. I'm like, we done. When he threw that pick 6, I said, we're done. It's over with. Finito. I thought we snatched the momentum when Hargrave forced a fumble on Dak Prescott in the end zone, recovered by, I believe it was Fletcher Cox. I'm like, okay, we gave up the pick, we got it right back. We got 7 on the board right back, and we didn't have to do nothing to get it.
Right.
But I just think.
And your defense And your defense started the game. That's exactly what it looked like. It started the game doing that. Now, the problem that we had was you got nothing going on up front with your front, which was surprising to me, strictly because I got the second best run defense in the league. And to get dominated like that up front, I was flabbergasted by that. Now, I can appreciate Brandon Graham being out for the season, your best edge rusher. He out for the season. All right, I can dig that. But to get dominated like that up front,
makes no sense. Like, it was
absolutely
nothing nobody can do about it.
However, I want you to relax. I want you to relax on what you saw yesterday because, as you know, this is a week-to-week league. All right? And I'm not impressed with the Cowboys, not even a little bit. No, I am not.
You know what?
You know why? Because I seen this
I feel good about you saying that. You're not impressed with the Cowboys. I like what the Cowboys bring offensively. We know what they did week 1. Dak Prescott looks resurged. He looks like he's a certified lock for the comeback player of the year. Zeke looks good. Tony Pollard looks good. CeeDee Lamb, Coop even look good. They used the hell out of them tight ends last night. Schultz and I forget the name of the other tight end. They used the hell out of them last night. They look good. It just seems like this defense is flying all around. I don't know what to expect from the Cowboys, but I do know this. If you're a Cowboys fan, now's a good time to be it because as many times as y'all always like to rant and rave, how about them Cowboys and this and that, this might actually be y'all year that y'all could go to the playoffs and maybe win a game. I'm not calling y'all Super Bowl contenders or nothing like that, depending on how Dak is down the stretch. But maybe this is y'all year that y'all could do something. But I tell you, you might not be impressed with the Cowboys this year, but I tell you somebody that I'm truly impressed with, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, even at the ripe age of what is Aaron Rodgers, like 38 years old, 37 years old, and this guy's still doing it like he just got into, like he just took the starting job from Brett Favre finally. Like Aaron Rodgers was magnificent in that game. Even though it started out kind of clunky, Aaron Rodgers pulled through late in this game, 40 seconds left on the clock. He marches down and sets up Mason Crosby for what was like a 40-something yard field goal to seal the victory. So I ask you this, as I see all of these quarterbacks in the league, one after another, we see a lot of all-time great fourth-quarter comebacks, and I believe this was one of them. This 40 seconds on the clock, I mean, it's an eternity in football terms, but still, Aaron Rodgers at the ripe age of 37, 38 years old, he pulls it out. Sets up Mason Crosby for one of the many field goal winning kicks in this week. We're going to talk about another great one later on, but do you think Aaron Rodgers is up there or at the top of the list when it comes to the clutchest quarterbacks of all time?
Absolutely, I feel like that. However, Beast, 37 seconds on your own 20 with no timeouts. We should have won that game yesterday. We should have absolutely won that game yesterday with everything that I saw that we had done, moving the football the way we did. Now, I don't know if Jules could have held the ball a little bit longer before he went into the end zone to eat more of the clock. Even still, I still feel like 37 seconds on their own 20 with no timeouts, we should be able to stop these dudes and wrap this thing up. Because Jimmy G and our offense, we did enough.
Jimmy G played a solid game.
We absolutely did enough. Only problem is,
he played a solid game.
He absolutely did play a solid game last night, and we sitting in a prevent defense. Now, I can appreciate don't go one-on-one with Aaron Rodgers because you could get beat. They're on their 20. I'm confident that Aaron Rodgers is going to have to beat us. Not in the zone, because if he gets to sit back there in the pocket and just throw and pick apart guys, which is what he
Adams
did,
was like wide to hell open for what reason? That's the last guy you leave open.
Well, he was open because he was just we're in a zone and we're in a prevent defense, and he's just sitting in a spot. Aaron's looking right at him. He don't have to look off the safety. Yeah. He doesn't have to look off the corner.
Like they say, prevent defense really ain't prevent.
That's all it is. So 0. So my logic is 37 seconds, no timeouts, go man-to-man, make Aaron Rodgers throw bombs. They got to get up the field. And not only throw bombs, keep it on the field. We're not going off any quick out routes. We're not going off of any hitches, going out of bounds. Keep that clock running. 37 seconds No timeouts
I
on
feel
the
you
20.
on
You should
that
have won
one,
that
but
game last
when
night.
it comes to Aaron Rodgers being one of the most clutch quarterbacks of all time, statistically, if you really think about it, some people might rant and rave over this stat and say, well, it's kind of skewed simply because what if you not putting your team in a position where you need to come back all the time? So does that make you less of a clutch quarterback because your fourth quarter, last second, minute and a half, 2-minute drill drives aren't as frequent as somebody that's always behind, like a Matt Stafford, who in fact has more fourth quarter comebacks than Aaron Rodgers. Ben Roethlisberger has more fourth quarter
That's
comebacks
correct.
than Aaron Rodgers. Matt Ryan has more fourth quarter comebacks than Aaron Rodgers, and so does Russell Wilson. In fact, Aaron Rodgers is actually 40th on that list. So I'm like, damn, is it because of the lack of situations of being in that situation? Because you're so good, you're always ahead. I'm always winning. We always going 13-3 every year. We don't have to come back. Or is it just –
Well, he wasn't always they're not always
of
ahead,
course.
right? There are times when he has to move the football. He absolutely has to move the football in the meat and potatoes of the game. But Aaron Rodgers is so smart. Aaron Rodgers doesn't let anybody, in terms of the defense, speed him up. And that's where a lot of the quarterbacks in the 2-minute drill, the lesser quarterbacks, Jameis, Teddy Bridgewater, Matt Ryan, they let these guys speed them up in the 2-minute drill, and they end up making mistakes. Aaron Rodgers is the guy who is calm, and he keeps it under control. If you notice, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes in the 2-minute drill. Forget this during the game. In the 2-minute drill, he has everybody in place. They know where they're supposed to be. He knows the guys that he's looking for, and he knows exactly what it is that he's doing. So I'm impressed with Aaron Rodgers, and I think that he's definitely one of the most clutch guys.
I think so too. This stat may be a little bit skewed. Maybe the opportunities aren't there to showcase that type of skill set, because I got no doubt in my mind he's one of the 5 quarterbacks I would choose if I had a 2-minute drill for my life. Tom Brady's at the top of the list to me. If I had 2 minutes for my life and I needed 6, I'm going with Tom Brady. But Aaron Rodgers is not too far behind that. But let's talk about another quarterback.
Yep.
Speaking of Tom Brady, he dueled it out with a guy with probably the hottest quarterback in the league right now, and that's Matthew Stafford. He wants to be called Matthew Stafford. Am I correct? He don't want to be called Matt Stafford no more. He wants to be called Matthew Stafford. But Tom Brady, that's not my name.
That's not my name. My name is Matthew.
Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford dueled it out on Sunday night, and it was a game for the books. I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going undefeated this season, and they came in here and got beat by this hot team led by Matt Stafford. This is what happens when you give a guy like Sean McVay a talented quarterback like Matthew Stafford. Magic happens, and I believe this team is scary as hell in the NFC. And my question to you is, the way that they beat this Tampa Bay team coming off the win that they just had the previous week, does that make or solidify the LA Rams as the team to beat in the NFC?
I don't know if it solidifies them as the team to beat in the NFC. However, they do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers number. I mean, they beat them last year. They came down to Tampa, and they came in here and they served them, as a matter of fact. I think the difference this year was Matthew Stafford, he just looks calmer. That offense looks like it's more conducive to his skill set. He looks like he's looking for guys as opposed to trying to find guys when he was in Detroit. He's actually looking for this guy, and this guy is there. Him and Cooper Kupp, that thing looks like it's just working.
Phenomenal, man.
Right? It just looks like it's working between those two. Him and Tyler Higbee, that just looks like it's working. And a blast from the past, all my boy Deshaun Jackson doing is running, and I love it. That's it.
Shout out to D Jackson, man. That's my dog. Shout out to Decent Jackson. That's my dog. Whoever know me, know I rock with me some 10 hard. Well, he won now. He number 1 now. He back home. He in Cali.
Absolutely.
Shout out to D Jackson, man. That man, all he doing, he said, I'm here for one reason and one reason only. Put me in the game when you want a 9 route, and I'm gone. That's it.
I'm gone. That's all he's doing is running go routes, right? And also, you got to take under consideration that they ran the football yesterday, and that opened up their pass game. And they absolutely dominated Tampa's offensive line. Now, if you're just looking at the numbers, you're going to see that Tom Brady threw for over 400 yards yesterday. What you're not going to see is he went to Gronk 3 times in the red zone, missed Mike Evans twice, and missed Godwin. And those are points that you leaving on the board when you get down in the red zone. You're not going to get in the red zone a lot against that LA Rams team. You're not going to get in the red zone. So when you get in the red zone, you got to capitalize when you get in the red zone against them. And I think that was something that really screwed them up. So I'm looking forward to seeing them again. I'm looking forward to if Tampa sees them again. But I can't say that I'm not going to say that they're the favorites in the NFC, but
to be honest with you, I think we need to give these guys a fair shake, right? Matt Stafford goes 343 yards, 4 touchdowns. The man Cooper Kupp goes 9 for 96 and 2 more touchdowns. Like, Cooper Kupp is making a serious, legitimate argument, if not top 5, at least top 10 wide receivers in this league. Like, we have to give credit where credit is due when it comes to this guy, right? Like,
he lead the league in yards. Nobody else lead the league in yards.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's on pace to have a triple crown. The last time the triple crown has been done, for those that don't know, the triple crown is leading the league in yards, leading the league in catches, leading the league in touchdowns. I think only 4 people in NFL history have ever gotten a triple crown. Jerry Rice, Don Hudson of the Packers in the 60s. Let me think. Don Hudson, Jerry Rice. Sterling Sharp did it in the 90s. And Steve Smith did it in the 2000s. And this Sterling.
Shannon Sharp was
Sterling.
No, Sterling Sharp did do it.
Sterling. If I said Shannon, I meant Sterling, his brother. Sterling Sharp did it in the 90s with Brett Favre.
That's correct.
But the thing about this is, if this kid can pull this off, he'll be the first one since Steve Smith to do it, and that's a hell of an accomplishment. And it's like only 3-0 teams left is the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Panthers. And it's like, how much faith do you really have in either one of those teams if you're putting them side by side with the Rams? And the Cardinals, I believe, is the truth. The Cardinals is the truth in the NFC. And I think if we're not talking about the Rams as the team to beat in the NFC, we have to be giving respect where respect is due. And that's with Kyler Murray and them boys,
Absolutely.
the Cardinals and them boys. I guarantee you now, everybody that didn't have Kyler Murray in their top 10, I bet they got his ass in there now. I'm trying to tell y'all.
In the words of my boy
You're entitled
Beast,
to change your opinion when
can
provided
change.
with new information. I already know where you're going with it.
When provided with new information. And as of right now, we have new information. And Kyler Murray looks like something to deal with.
That's all I'm saying. Like sometimes I'm telling y'all, sometimes I see this shit before it happens. When I say something and I'm adamant and I stick to it, usually it's something, we got something there. Now, I'm not saying I'm right all the time. I'm just saying shit. I may be wrong, but I doubt it, in the words of Charles Barkley. We got the Panthers are 3-0, the Bucks are 2-1, the Saints are 2-1, the Falcons are 1-2 in this division. It's like it's not time to panic for the Bucks because I think they'll be fine. They decimated. They got a couple of little injuries here and there. I think the Bucks will be okay. Yep. And I ain't got no issues with it. Was a hell of a game. Tom Brady, if you're going to lose to anybody, lose to a team as hot as these boys. Gronk went down, and that's his red zone target. Even though he ended up coming back, Gronk seems to be banged up. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens next week against Bill Belichick when they go back to New England and they got to see them boys. That is going to be a game.
I think they go up there and
I think so
no
too,
question about
but I
that.
just want to see the energy. You know what I'm saying? Like playing your old teammates, seeing what it's like to be in that environment again. This time, for the first time, you standing across from Bill Belichick instead of on the same side as Bill Belichick. I know Gronk is going to be hungry to play. Whoever got Rob Gronkowski in fantasy, you start that man. I don't care who your tight. If it's not Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, you start Rob Gronkowski in fantasy if you got him. Point blank, period. Flat out, because he's going to ball. Him and Brady. You start both of them. They balling.
Absolutely. Now, I will tell you this, Beast. Now, Tom Brady did look, even though Matthew Stafford did outplay him, Tom Brady was balling. No question about it. And we can't leave out the fact that, no AB yesterday neither. So that's also his long ball threat and his red zone threat that he didn't have yesterday. So that's huge. Mike Evans every bit of 6'5". That's why he was complaining yesterday when he got to the sideline, when they were in the red zone.
Ball.
Yo, I know that Gronk is who he is. Absolutely that. You can come to me. Because Jalen Ramsey, as good as Jalen Ramsey is,
and that's what I'm
saying. He don't want nothing to do with me.
Jalen Ramsey was playing a lot of slot. Like last year, he guarded Mike Evans foot for foot, but this year he's playing a lot of slot. So they got him in that inside role. Me and my boy Mike Beasley was talking about it. Like they got him playing like where Charles Woodson used to play with the Raiders with the Packers. He's a do-it-all corner, a guy that has come up, stuff to run, pick you up, slam you. He can hit hard. He can hit clean, and he's a shutdown corner on top of that, one of the best football players in the league. So they got a talented one over there. And a lot of these guys schematically going into the game plan, they try to avoid. When they got a guy in the caliber of Jalen Ramsey, I heard this football players talk about this on different shows and podcasts before. These guys literally go into the game saying, I know that's our number one guy, and we love us some Mike Evans or Devontae Adams or whoever it may be. But we're going to prevent from throwing his direction because Darrelle Revis is over there or Champ Bailey is over there. Like, that's crazy to me.
Right.
Like, to me, it should be my guy is better than your guy. I don't give a damn what type of corner you are. But last week, to segue to something else, last week we bashed a certain team, a certain organization because they played like complete dog doo-doo. And that organization was the New Orleans Saints. And they had a bounce-back week. Week, and they win this game pretty convincingly. Jameis Winston only threw for, 100 and some yards, but he had a couple of touchdowns. Alvin Kamara had a bounce-back week, had over 100 yards from scrimmage, didn't score, he did score. I think he caught a touchdown pass from Jameis Winston. But, this offense looked better. It looked more fluid. It looks more of what I expect week in and week out from an offensive guru, so to speak, of a guy like Sean Payton. So, last week we killed the Saints. But my question to you is, how can the Saints maintain this poise moving forward when you know you got a guy like Jameis Winston as your starting quarterback? What can Sean Payton do? Not only Sean Payton, but the whole unit as a whole. Because they legit defensively. What can they do to maintain this poise moving forward when they start to face the more elite teams?
Well, you and I talked about this before the season started. Beast, who is one of your top 5 running backs?
Derrick Henry, CMC, Dalvin Cook. Who else we got? I don't know. Alvin Kamara.
Pretty sure you had Alvin Kamara in there.
Alvin Kamara.
Pretty sure you had Alvin Kamara in there. And he ate yesterday. That was the difference. 24 rushes, 90 yards.
Yeah.
This is our workhorse back. Get him involved, because when you get him involved, you know what you're doing? You're taking a lot of the pressure, number one, off Jameis as a passer, because now that defense has to come up because we got 7-8 guys in the box. When he eating like that, you can't just play nickel or anything like that. You have to come up now. So that takes the pressure off Jameis. So Jameis now playing underneath the way he was.
Doubt.
He actually looked really good. The leash was short on him yesterday. And when I say short, I mean it wasn't, he's going to get yanked out of the game. No, we're going to dumb down what we're doing. We're going to stay short. We're going to hit hitch routes. We're going to hit hooks. We're not going to go 9 routes. We're not doing that today. Nuh-uh. We're not doing that against this team. We're going to stay
Jameis
right here with what we're doing.
Jameis
and he
play.
looked solid. He did have a Jameis play, and here's the thing. When you married to Jameis, you have to expect those things from time to time, all right? And you're going to have to eat that. But we have to minimize those plays. And how do we minimize those plays? We minimize those plays by getting other people involved. They converted on 3rd downs. Taysom Hill was converting on 3rd down. Alvin Kamara was eating, right? Kenny Stills was eating. These guys looked really good yesterday, and the reason why they looked good was because it was dumbed down, and Jameis didn't have to do too much. The problem that Jameis has is when you put too much on him, like he did when he was in Tampa, when he's throwing the ball 40, 50 times. Now he's more prone to make mistakes. When you slow his offense down and you make it simpler for him, he's definitely one of the better quarterbacks in the game. I got no doubt about anything
you said. I secondhand that. A lot of people give Jameis Winston a hard time simply because of his decision-making. And I feel like more so I want to see Sean Payton. See, I don't know about you guys in this chat, by the way. If I didn't say it, I appreciate every one of y'all joining here today. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I appreciate all of y'all riding, man. I love all of y'all. But if I don't know how y'all feel about Sean Payton, but I hold this man at a high regard. I think of Sean Payton as one of the greatest offensive minds ever. Seriously. And ever one of the greatest offensive minds ever. And the thing about Sean Payton is he's been attached to Drew Brees his whole career, his whole coaching career, right? He's been attached to Drew Brees. So it's pretty easy to maintain that prestige around the league when you got a guy like Drew Brees throwing the football for you when you calling the plays for him, right? Hall of Famer, top 5 quarterback of all time, in my opinion, if you ask me. Now,
mine too.
I saw somebody in this chat mention Sean McVay, who's another offensive-minded guru. Me and my boy Mike, again, we had a long conversation today. Me and my boy Mike was talking about this early on the phone. He mentioned, hey, you know, Sean McVay did it with Jared Goff. Now he's got Matt Stafford. It's going to be GG's for the league. I said, I agree. And that's what I'm thinking about Sean Payton. Sean Payton did it with Drew Brees. Yeah, we get that. That's easy. But can you have a Sean McVay moment? Can you do it not only with Drew Brees, but do it with Jameis Winston when the situation isn't really conducive to what you want or how you want it to be? Sean Payton, show me that you are the elite play caller and scheme maker that you are by putting this guy that's not quite Drew Brees in a great position to succeed like you did with a Drew Brees. Right. Now, I'm not saying –
Now, Beast,
I think it's fair? Very fair Beast, because, like fair? I said –
is it fair to go that way? Because Sean McVay is upgrading as opposed to Sean Payton downgrading.
He upgrading, but don't forget, like I say, he had a Jared Goff first, so he's upgrading. Now, he got it on the back end. One got it on the front end. That's the only difference. So if Sean McVay can figure out schematically how to draw plays for Jared Goff, it was stories told that Jared Goff was so negligent, so stupid, so to speak. I don't want to call nobody stupid, but they say this man, you only get like 7 to 10 seconds in a headset to communicate the play for the quarterback, right? They say Sean McVay, a regular coach, wide banana 2, scat right on 3. That's the play. You send it in and that's it. You know what I'm saying? They say Sean McVay had the wide banana 2 jet on 3. Cooper Kupp is going to be wide open on the 7 route. Look for Cooper Kupp and the Michael Kupp. That's what he had to do to Jared Goff because that's where he was at.
No, I don't need you to tell me that.
My man Mike said it best. Now this man can sleep an extra 2 hours at night because he's got less to worry about when you got a guy like Matthew Stafford behind center now. That's the thing. So Sean McVay had his moment in which he upgraded at quarterback, and now they are potential Super Bowl bound. Sean Payton, I hold you at a high regard, higher than I hold Sean McVay. Can you give me that Sean McVay moment with this lesser quarterback than Drew Brees? Showcase your ability to lead and guide this team and schematically draw up shit that's going to be conducive to a guy, Jameis Winston, who's wild, who can get wild. You see the fall-away throws in the end zone. You saw how Sean Payton looked at him when he got to the sideline. He thought he did something good. Payton immediately checked him. Nah, dog, we ain't having that. That's not what we doing here.
No.
When you know you got something like a gun that can go off at any minute, it's hard to tame it, Sean Payton. I need you to tame it, and I need you to tame it for the rest of this season. Show me what you got. Show me why they call you the guru of offense in the National Football League. But speaking of Matthew Stafford, I think there's 2 quarterbacks we need to give credit where credit is due. There's 2 guys that deservingly so should be not if not top 10, right outside of the top 10, because I feel like a lot of guys ain't giving these guys some respect, the respect that they deserve. I'm talking about Matthew Stafford, who I've been ranting and raving about for the past 5 minutes, and I'm talking about my favorite cousin, Kirk Cousin, my first cousin.
What?
Kirk Cousin. My first cousin.
Your first cousin?
First cousin.
Are you kidding me?
First cousin needs some love, man. Matthew Stafford needs some love, man. He got Cooper Kupp out here looking like Tay Adams. I'm telling you. That this man ran a whip route. He faked the whip route and went back the other direction. Had the corner looking all googly moogly. That route was juicy. I said, damn, Cooper Kupp. It's like that. You had it like that this whole time in your bag? Listen, Kirk Cousins is 73% completion percentage this season. 918 yards and 8 TDs. Most importantly, 0 interceptions on the season. That's
0.
Kirk Cousins. In a run-heavy offense, this is what Kirk Cousins is providing for you through the first 3 games. Matthew Stafford, he's 70% completion percentage, 832 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's what he's providing. And if you didn't have Matthew Stafford or Kirk Cousins in your top 10 or at least top 15 quarterbacks in the league, it's about time we pay these guys some respect.
I can't fight you on Matt Stafford, but I know your cousin. I know him. I know who your cousin is, and I know that he could get fresh every once in a while. But most of the time when I see him, he's looking kind of whack. But in this particular situation, I'm gonna give your cousin some love right now. And the reason why I'm gonna give your cousin some love right now, because Dalvin Cook went down yesterday, which I'm not surprised. He rolled his ankle, so he's probably gonna be out for another 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. So we'll revisit this again in another 2 weeks to see where your cousin at, and if he ain't locked up or something like that. Because we gonna see where he at right now. Because I dig in terms of a skill set and in terms of a guy who can deliver the football, 3-step drop, 5-step drop. When cousin got it going, he's one of the best in the game. When you put that heat on him and you take away his first read and you start scrambling his brain, that's when it gets tricky with him in particular. Not to mention when those lights
that's
get
the
brighter.
biggest
When
thing.
you put him
That's
on
my
Monday Night
biggest
Football.
concern with Kirk Cousins. His Monday night, like his game day, his national spotlight record is like horrendous, man. That's my biggest concern with Kirk Cousins.
Trash. When those lights get brighter, right? When you put him on the game of the week on Fox, that's when he looks not too much. However, I'm down to give your cousin some love.
He deserve
right
it, man. You got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. I'm gonna give your cousin some love right now. I'm not gonna fight him. I'm absolutely.
We got to give him some love, and comes with all love. Sometimes comes a little bit hate, and with all hate, sometimes comes a little bit of worries. Everybody worries, but my question is it time to worry about a certain team out of the AFC that's been dominant over the last 3 seasons? And that's the Kansas City Chiefs. 0-2 over the past 2 weeks. They drop one to the hot LA Chargers. Justin Herbert just makes it look so easy. Him and his new favorite target, Mike Williams. Mike Will made it. Because he's making it right now. I got assassinated by Jeremy in fantasy this week by Mike Williams. Gave him 28 big ones in standard. I don't even want to imagine what he had in PPR, and I think he had like 9 catches. So you do the math. But Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes with the no-look. People are saying, he should stop throwing the no-look. It's not necessary. Well, that's who Patrick Mahomes is. Take it or leave it. Like it or love it. Because when he throws it and it's completed, it's one of the greatest things we've ever seen. But now that he throws it and he incompletes it or he misses a guy for a touchdown, now he needs to stop doing it. No, this is who Patrick Mahomes is. Point blank period, flat out. So my question is, 0-2, the Kansas City Chiefs currently 1-2. Is it time for the Kansas City Chiefs to panic? And I think the whole situation with how teams have been responding to Tyreek Hill and his lack of play over these last 2 losses, I don't think is a coincidence. I think teams have found the formula to beating the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's slowing down Tyreek Hill. I've been on record stating this for weeks.
Well, first and foremost, just for the record, Justin Herbert, he's 2-1 against Pat Mahomes. I just want to put that out there.
Didn't know that.
We'll start the conversation there. Yes, he's 2. He's got a winning record against Pat Mahomes. That's number one. That combination with him and Mike Williams, I'm looking at them and they look like they just on the same page. And the way him and Keenan Allen were, it looks like Mike Williams and Herbert times 2. How they're connected, and I can't fight that one bit. And that Los Angeles defense looks even better. Now, I can appreciate the notion that he's reckless. He's throwing bad interceptions. yo, we got to give some credit to that. We got to give some credit to that Los Angeles defense, and we got to give some credit to that Los Angeles offense.
No doubt about that.
We absolutely got to understand. We absolutely got to understand who Justin Herbert is. This guy is a star in the making. They have their quarterback of the future. Man. Them running the football the way they're doing it, losing Melvin Gordon, I thought that was going to be a big deal. Turns out it's not. Turns out it's not as a big deal, not as big deal as I thought it was. And I'll tell you this, Beast. You asked me if we should panic. Turns out that AFC West is way better than what we thought it was going to be. Denver is way better than who we thought they were going to be. The Raiders are better than who we thought they was going to be. LA Chargers are better than who we thought they were going to be. So we thought that Kansas City was just going to march right through the AFC West and win 14 games this year. Let's hold the phone on that.
But damn that. I got something I want to talk about. Unc, I got something I want to discuss.
I'm listening.
I want to talk about the way I feel like my man Justin Fields has been mistreated this past week.
Uh-oh, I got to buckle up for this.
Matt Nagy, I got a bone to pick with you, my dog. I got a bone to pick with you. This is my issue that I got with the Chicago Bears. I don't know what's going on with that organization. I don't know if it was a split in the office about who they wanted to draft. Maybe Nagy wanted Mac Jones. Maybe the owner, maybe the organization wanted Justin Fields, and they weigh heavier over anybody else because they do the hiring and the firing in this month. Mm-hmm. But the way Justin Fields was thrown out there on Sunday, and you as the head coach, as the offensive-minded guy that you claim to be, the guru that you claim to be, allowed this man Justin Fields to go out here. I was watching Get Up this morning. and Darren Orlowski pointed out that out of the 20 drop backs that Justin Fields had, 13 of them were 5-man protection. Mind you, we're playing the Cleveland Browns here. Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett, two of the best pass rushers in the National Football League. And you don't max protect this kid once? You roll out the pocket 3 times in the entire game?
Myles Garrett, second in the league in sacks.
You chip block Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney twice with running backs. First of all, these running backs, once they see how Justin Fields is getting hit, these running backs no longer run routes. You sit tight. We're not going nowhere. We're going to max protect. So you basically left this kid out to dry. I'm going to repeat that. 20 dropbacks from Justin Fields. 13 of them were 5-man. 5-man blocking. That's the minimum. And you gave up 9 sacks to Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett, who had 4.5 of them. He damn near had a Chandler Jones type game. Like, come on, Nagy. Fire his ass immediately. They said Justin Fields had an average. I read somewhere, I was swiping through TikTok, read somewhere on the blog. They said Justin Fields had an average of 1.7 seconds per snap to get the ball out. 1.7.
That's no time.
I yawn longer than that.
That's no time.
I yawn longer than that.
That's no time.
Matthew Nagy, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I got half the mind to think that this is some sabotage type shit. As if you put Justin Fields in this position to fail on purpose. This makes no sense to me. Somebody, somewhere, needs to do some undercover brother work and figure out what the hell is going on in my city, because I don't like my man going out here. You got people talking about Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky, maybe he wasn't the problem. Oh, no, he was the problem. Matt Nagy was the problem, too. It's just Mitch Trubisky took the blame for it. Usually they get rid of the coach and keep the quarterback. In this situation, they got rid of the quarterback and kept the coach. Now we doubling up on this young kid with promise. 9 sacks. And you don't do a damn thing about it? You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Matt Nagy. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, the entire Bears organization. This is a bad look on y'all. And Nagy has the nerve to stand up there on a podium and say, this one is on me. Well, no shit, Sherlock. You damn right it's on you. Dan Orlowski said they had 149 days to prepare for the talent that this young kid possesses. And this is what you throw out here? No RPOs, no design run plays for a kid as electric as Justin Fields. This is ridiculous. And somebody needs to pay for this. Somebody needs to be held accountable for the lack of mentality to go out here and produce some type of product for the fans as a offensive guru like Matt Nagy's supposed to be, hired because of Alex Smith threw for 4,000 yards. That's how you got your job? Well, why the hell Eric Bieniemy ain't got no job while we own it? Eric Bieniemy went to the Super Bowl behind Patrick Mahomes. Eric Bieniemy didn't get a job. If Eric Bieniemy wasn't Eric Bieniemy and he was Richard Wachowski.
Say it. If Eric Bieniemy wasn't what? Say it.
If Eric Bieniemy wasn't Eric Bieniemy. If Eric Bieniemy wasn't a brother.
Say it.
If Eric Bieniemy wasn't a brother, I got no doubt in my mind he would have a job right now as a head coach. Instead, he's got a result to potentially being a college head coach because he can't get no job worth talking about in the NFL. This is ridiculous. But Matt Nagy got a job because of Alex Smith, but he can't get a job because of Patrick Mahomes. Went to the Super Bowl twice.
Now, your brand, and I ain't going to stop you because we had this conversation before, and I'm going to let you keep going, I promise. However, this isn't a guy in Justin Fields who came in the middle of the game when Andy Dalton got hurt. Andy Dalton got hurt last week, which means we had all week to go over this. All right? We had all week to go over this. And I said this to you a week ago. I said this to you 2 weeks ago about the Chicago Bears, that I didn't feel comfortable putting him out there. So when you say to me, this looks like some sabotage, is he trying to prove a point that Justin Fields isn't ready? Or is he trying to make it look like Justin Fields isn't ready by throwing him out there with that whack-ass offense?
I'm telling you.
With that whack-ass offensive line and throwing him out there with that play calling to make him look like he isn't ready when in reality, maybe he is.
This is the most.
So I'm going to give it back to you. I just wanted to.
I'm not going to be too much longer on this topic. I just want to get this out. Justin Fields is probably the most dynamic quarterback that the Chicago Bears have ever had. And for Matt Nagy to be such a quote-unquote offensive-minded guru and for him not to draw up no RPOs, we saw nothing flashy, nothing spectacular coming from a kid that possesses this much athleticism. We saw absolutely nothing. I see somebody in the comments that mentioned offensive line of the Chicago Bears. Well, let me bring something to the light for y'all. Yes, the offensive line being terrible is a big issue. But I'm going to ask y'all a question. Do you know who had the worst offensive line in the league last year? The worst? A lot of people might say Cincinnati, bad offensive line. But the answer is no. Cincinnati was ranked 30th. Look, somebody said the Eagles. The answer is no. It wasn't the Eagles. We was in the middle of the pack last year. Statistically, by Pro Football Focus, the worst offensive line in the league last year was Justin Herbert's. The L.A. Chargers. 32nd in the league when the season was all said and done. So miss me with that offensive line bullshit. He threw for 4,300 yards and 30 touchdowns behind that terrible offensive line, which is another testament to why he's such a dog. So, yes, the offensive line being bad is a reason, not the reason. Please understand that.
Facts.
The reason is standing on that sideline with a headset on and a clipboard. That's the reason. Moving on. To a more positive note, we mentioned field goal kicking being a thing this week, right? Mason Crosby hits one from 40-something yards. And now we had a guy by the name of Justin Tucker, who a lot of people are now calling the newly crowned GOAT. 66-yard field goal to seal the win against the Detroit Lions. But I ask you this, Unc. What was more impressive? Was it the fact that the man kicked the 66-yard field goal, or should I say, what is the bigger take here? The fact that Justin Tucker hit a 66-yard field goal, or the fact that the Baltimore Ravens almost lost to the Detroit Lions?
Well, I will tell. We'll start the conversation with they should have beat Detroit by 2 touchdowns.
Right.
We'll start the conversation with that. Now, was Justin Tucker's game-winning field goal for 66 yards impressive? No, it was even better than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to listen. And I'm not listening to the logic. Well, it was in the dome. It wasn't outside. Okay, none of that matters.
Right.
He still kicked the football for more than half the field to win the game.
No doubt.
Okay, he still did that. Not to mention, in the most precious situation, you are aware that Baltimore Ravens team, they lead the league in trips to the red zone with 0 touchdowns, which is leading me to believe my nephew over here, my counterpart over here, keeps telling me that Lamar Jackson is the league MVP, and I was fighting him. But the more I watch Baltimore, I'm getting sicker and sicker, and we're gonna get into that with the top 5 underperformances. I ain't gonna get into that right now. However, I'm looking at that Baltimore offense, and outside of Lamar Jackson, Gabricio.
Yeah, bro.
Trash.
And that's why I lean towards Lamar Jackson being an MVP dark horse, simply because he was going to have to shoulder more of the weight. And it seems like maybe that's not the case. Like, maybe this is going to be the reason why he ain't the MVP, or the reason why he ain't as successful as I thought he could be, because maybe he can't handle all the weight, man. It's crazy. Like, that's crazy. But I think the bigger take is, like you said, the fact that they almost lost to Detroit. They should have beat Detroit by a couple of touchdowns. And, but this is also a testament. Good teams seem to figure it out. Even though it took a 66-yard field goal, which is uncanny, don't count on that to happen again next week. Because if you got to line Justin Tucker up to hit a 66-yard field goal again in your next game, don't count on that. It's probably not going to happen. But, hey, great teams figure it out, and that is definitely the Detroit way to lose this game, to a 66-yard record-breaking field goal. That's just sheer Detroit. So I feel sorry for Detroit fans. I mean, shit, y'all could feel sorry for me too as an Eagles fan, because we both got Bricio, and we're going to move on from that, though. While we was talking about the disappointments, we got to get into every Tuesday show, we got the segment. We got to talk about the top 5 performers and top 5 underperformers. So, Unc, give me your top 5 performers of this weekend's football games.
My top 5 performers of the week, I'm going to start with my man Eric Kendricks from Minnesota. Second in the league in tackles, had 11 tackles, had a sack. They was huge on third down, and they served Seattle. I thought that was a huge deal, right? Number 4, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett was ridiculous in the rush, 4.5 sacks, 7 tackles. He was a big deal. He did everything that he could.
No doubt about that.
My third, and I'm gonna put it to you like this, as my man Big said, don't leave your girl around me. True player for real. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm telling you, my man, you keep leaving Jamar Chase around me, I'm gonna take him from you.
Yeah. Now you want to hop on the bandwagon.
You turned him on. You turned me on to him. The more I'm looking at him, the more I'm saying, Beast, you better not leave him around me, because I'm gonna take him from
That's
you.
my dog.
I'm going to take him from
That's
you.
my dog.
4 receptions, 65 yards, 2
That's my dog.
Uh-huh.
Jamar, I tried to tell the world about him. Look, I said, like I told my man, I seen Jamar Chase on accident. I was coming because y'all know I love my LSU running bike. I was there to look at Clyde. That was hilarious. And said, who the hell is this guy out muscling everybody? This is Anquan Bolden. That's my dog.
Absolutely. Number 2, and it was probably the most underrated performance of the weekend, and it was my man Deshaun Jackson. All he running is go routes.
Yeah.
3 receptions, 130 yards. Stop playing.
I didn't even know he had a $130.
3 receptions, 130 yards.
D-Jax had a $130.
That's all we doing is running 9 routes. That's it.
He's tied for the most 75-yard touchdowns in NFL history, by the way. Let me drop that in there.
There you go. And Matt and my number 1 is Matt Stafford. He was a technician. He just was. Matt was just a technician back there. You're gonna eat. You're gonna eat. You want to eat? You can eat too.
Everybody, hey, you get a car. You get a car.
Yeah, that's who Matt Stafford.
I know this is a little bit off topic, Unc, but I know we a little bit older than some of these guys in here. But I see a comment when you referenced Biggie. Somebody in here says, "I swear that was Usher that said that." My God, My
Where you think he got
God,
it from?
right.
Where you think Usher got that from?
That's
Come on, B.
showcasing the age, man. But look, I'm going to give you mine, though. At 5, I got Josh Allen, man. Josh Allen is just slinging the ball all over the yard. He had one of the better games of the season for the Buffalo Bills, and it's just he just does everything for this team. He's running. Finally, they get some production out of a running back. Zach Moss had a touchdown, but Josh Allen is just tremendous. 388 yards, 5 total touchdowns. He honestly could make a legitimate case to be number 1 on this list. At 4, I got your guy, Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford played a hell of a game. He's out here toying with defenses. He beat one of the better teams in the National Football League, 343 yards, 4 total touchdowns, 4 TD, not total, but you know what I mean. At 3, you went a lot of defense with yours. I went majority offense. If you know me, you know I love me some offense. At 3, I got Ezekiel Elliott, over 100-plus yards. The Thunder and Lightning over there, I talked about it at the beginning of the show. The Thunder and Lightning was just – it struck us, and it struck us hard. We got our asses beat in the trenches, and that's where games are won in the NFL. Games are won in the trenches. Ezekiel Elliott did majority of the work, over 100-plus yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He was tremendous. At number 2, I got the entire Browns defense. I'm not just going to sit up here and say single one of these guys out. They all played tremendously well. And they was flying all over the place. Jadeveon Clowney, Denzel Ward, all of these boys were just flying all over the place. Led by Myles Garrett, who had 4.5 sacks, put on a virtuoso performance. You can't slight these boys one bit. Number 1, I got Justin Herbert and Mike Williams. I got both of these guys. It's a tandem, man. 1-2 punch. Justin Herbert had himself a day. I think he threw 3 or 4 touchdowns. Mike Williams, we just discussed it, 7 for 22, 2 more touchdowns. He's balling out, and these guys is just looking like arguably the greatest 1-2 punch in the league right now, next to Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. If I had to put some money on it right now, it looks like he's found a new weapon, and he got a nickname for me. Mike Will made it. Yeah, Mike Will made it. No doubt about that. But, let me get into the opposite. Let's flip it. Top 5 disappointments of this weekend's games.
Well, we'll start with the Giants. Okay, first and foremost, you can't lose to Atlanta, who was winless on Eli Manning's jersey retirement night. He's getting inducted into the ring of honor. You can't lose to Atlanta. I don't care who come in. You can't lose to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Gabricio. Absolutely. I got it, and we just talked about it. I was the most disappointed in Justin Fields, even though it wasn't his fault, but he got sacked 9 times. I stopped watching after 5. I turned it off. I was out. After he got sacked,
I get it.
After the 5th sack, I was out.
I get it, man. I was
absolutely out.
I get it.
Number 3, and I thought he should have been higher, but I had him at number 3, Hollywood Brown. How many times does Lamar have to hit you in the numbers? For 6.
Didn't he drop like 3 or 4 touchdowns?
3 of them for 6. Yeah. That's why they should have beat them by 2 touchdowns. Yeah. They shouldn't have beat them by 1.
That's facts.
They should have beat them by 2 touchdowns.
I forgot about that.
Hit him 3 times in the numbers for 6, and he drops all 3 of them. I'm like, yo, where you at this afternoon?
Facts.
Because you ain't with us.
He's not a number 1. I keep telling you, everybody's got their guy but Lamar.
Absolutely. Number 2, got to go to Pat Mahomes. You killed us, yo.
Ooh.
Absolutely, you did. You absolutely killed us. No doubt about it. And my number 1, the New York Jets. Shut out. 42 yards rushing for the game. In the words of my nephew Beast, Gabricio.
I feel that. I second that. The New York Jets, man. Like, I don't know what to say about them, but I'm going to start at the top of my list, and that's Carson Wentz. 144 yards, no touchdowns. Lost, healthy, got everything he need, and he just doesn't look like he has it anymore. Like, maybe that 2017 Carson Wentz was just a glimpse of what he thought he could be. Maybe he was living in an alternate universe just for that 17 game or 16 because he got injured. But Carson Wentz has been just Gabricio this season. At 4, I got Big Ben. I talked about this pre-show with Unc, and I was asking me what I think about Big Ben. It's ironic he asked me that because he made this list. 3 touchdowns on the season, which is okay, but he's got 3 turnovers, so you neutralizing that. So essentially, you have 0. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like 3 touchdowns, 3 turnovers. Like he just got a complete dead arm. Like, and they lost to the Bengals, a team that they beat perennially. Like they always beat the Bengals, and they lost to the Bengals. That's when you know it's time for the Steelers to hang it up. Now, I know they banged up. I know they're not healthy 100%, but it is what it is. You just got to call it like I see it. Number 3, I got the rookie quarterback play. The rookie quarterback play has been horrendous. And I saw something on Good Morning Football, and people are trying to make excuses for the rookie quarterbacks this season. And Peter Schrager just basically said, hey, what if they just not those guys? Like, why are we saying, oh, they got to sit? Oh, we got to wait. Oh, we got to this, we got to that. What if they just not those guys? And I get that at one end, and I don't get it at another end, because I'm kind of torn in the middle between that, right? He said, what if they not – he said, Joe Burrow didn't sit. Justin Herbert didn't sit. They came right in. It was Baker Mayfield didn't sit. Tyrod Taylor got hurt. He came right in, balled out, threw 28 touchdowns. Most touchdowns by a rookie. So it's like maybe these guys just aren't that. Like if you look at the rookie quarterback play, Jones, Lawrence, and Wilson had a combined 9 turnovers just this past weekend. 9 turnovers by those 3 quarterbacks. Rookie quarterbacks. Like
trash.
It's just Gabricio.
Trash.
Number 2, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. 0-2 in their last 2 games. What is going on? Is it time to panic? Is it cause to pause? Patrick Mahomes, we got to get it together. Tyreek Hill, we got to figure out a new way, Andy Reid, to get this man open because teams is catching on. If you put a man on that man and shadow a safety over the top and prioritize shutting down Tyreek Hill and let everybody else eat, this seems to be the formula. Number 1, the Chicago Bears. The entire Chicago Bears organization, all 53 men on the roster, the organization as a whole is my number 1. Biggest disappointment. The way y'all threw my man Justin Fields out there to the Wolves without having him prepared with a wool coat and a knife, y'all bogus as hell for that, and I blame Matt Nagy for not drawing up a better scheme to put this man.
No shoes in the snow. It's
with no wool in the coat.
It's freezing.
No wool in the knife.
Nothing.
No weapon, nothing to defend himself in case he gets attacked by wolves. Threw him to the wall.
Just threw him
nothing
out
to defend himself.
Figure it out.
And he barely made it out alive. Got sacked 9 times. And you protected him with the minimum protection, 13 out of his 20 dropbacks. And the other times you didn't even max protect. You never max protect throughout the whole game. You threw a running back in there to chip Jadeveon Clowney. Why are we chipping Jadeveon Clowney? He should be double teamed the whole game. What you chip? Doritos, chip.
So we just gonna put hands on him. That's all we're not gonna block him. We're just gonna put hands
just touch him a little bit and then keep running routes. Running back should not have been running routes this whole game. It's just despicable, man. Normally we like to end every show. Real quick. Let's run through this real quick. Spicy take of the day. We got to talk about this. Usually, reason why I almost forgot is because the spicy take of the day is usually at the beginning. This time is at the end because we had so much to get to. But NBA Twitter, right? For those of you that was just asking about basketball is coming up real shortly. Friday's whole episode, majority of the episode is probably going to be a lot of basketball, a little bit of Thursday night football, majority basketball. But NBA Twitter said, swiping through TikTok, swiping through Twitter, I seen somebody say, it was a meme that said, if Larry Bird played in today's game, he would be nothing more than a Joe Harris. Nothing more than a Joe Harris. Joe Smith, former number one pick in the 1995 draft, I believe it was. You know who I'm talking about. But Joe Harris, that plays for the New Jersey Brooklyn Nets. They said Larry Bird, if he played in today's game, he would be nothing more than a Joe Harris. Can you please let these kids know who the hell Larry Legend was, please?
Well, we'll start the conversation with anybody who says something like that. I wouldn't even give them the time of day. However, for those of you who don't know, Larry Legend, Larry Bird, wasn't the most athletic. He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the strongest. But he was the smartest. So we talking about a guy who for 6 years, on average, was 27 a game. We talking about a guy who, for his career, he went 50, 40, and almost 90. For his career. Not for a season, for 2 seasons. He did that for his
think
career.
Larry Bird went 50, 40, 90 like 5 times, almost 5 times, and I think he did it like 3 times, ain't it?
He did it back-to-back seasons. Yeah. Okay, that's first of all. Now, to talk about Larry Bird like that, right? I'm trying to figure out what's the narrative on a guy today who's first-team All-NBA 9 straight years in 10 years. Well, how are we talking about that guy? And the notion that you're telling me that he would be Joe Harris or he's not that athletic. Last I checked, Luka ain't skipping in the lane and throwing it over top of people. Luka ain't exactly lightning fast up the floor and throwing the ball behind his head. Larry Bird's ability to play make, Larry Bird's ability to pass the basketball, Larry Bird's ability to defend being on a team at a high level is unmatched. Larry Bird is a top 10 player all time, and I can appreciate the notion of evolution, but Larry Bird would be incredible today.
No doubt about it.
He would not do any less than what he was doing back then.
No doubt about it.
He would be doing very much the same thing. So let's dead that.
If Luka Doncic can do it in today's game, what the hell possesses you to believe that Larry Legend wouldn't be able to do it in today's game? There's been unathletic guys to grace this NBA, and it doesn't always have to be the biggest, strongest, quickest, fastest guys in the room. Sometimes you can outsmart guys. But well said, great put by Unc. We like to end every show with some questions from the fans, so let's have it. Rein them in. We want to hear y'all questions. We're going to answer one or two of them before we get on out of here. We ran the show a little bit long today. We had a lot to cover. It was a beautiful show.
Mm-hmm.
I had fun.
Over today.
Now we doing questions from the fans. Rein them in, y'all. Let's see what y'all got. He's right.
What you got?
Say, look at Joker. Like, straight up. Randy Moss or Jerry Rice.
Real simple. Real simple,
It's
nephew.
real simple.
Real simple. Randy was the most talented. Megatron was the most dominant. T.O. was the most athletic. Jerry was the sharpest.
Yeah, Jerry Rice was just like we just got through talking about the quickest, fastest, strongest, but you wasn't outworking Jerry. Jerry's the GOAT for a reason.
He wasn't.
Like, when you look at Jerry's
he was
stats,
razor sharp.
It's like unmatched. You like, damn, Jerry got 16,000? Okay, well, shit. Who underneath him? Oh, damn, he got 12,000? Oh, he ain't nobody touching
nobody close.
Like, it's nobody close to his records. Start bench
Nobody
cut,
close.
Luka, Harden, Dame.
Now, we went over this. I went over this, and I did a video about it not too long ago. The problem that I'm having with Luka being on this list is he ain't been around long enough.
Talk about the Browns. Cardell, open your ears. If you was here the whole show, you'd have seen that. Go ahead.
We did talk about Cleveland. Yes, we did talk about Myles Garrett. Yes, we did.
We did.
Mm-hmm. We talked about Baker Mayfield and what he did. Yes, we did talk about that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. My favorite Biggie verse of all time. Oh, that's simple right there. Heartthrob never, black and ugly as ever.
However, I stay Gucci down to the socks.
I don't need to hear nothing else after that. Because when he says never, and then when he says however, that means wait a second.
Hold it.
Because I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking when you see me, right? But hang on for a second.
This is a debate.
Best
this might
verse I ever heard.
This might be a debate right here. Embiid or Jokic? Who you got?
Oh, that's. I don't think that's a debate for me neither. Because the reason why Joker won the league MVP is because Embiid missed 3 weeks. He was 30-11.
Say less, then.
He was 30 before he went out with that knee injury. He was 30-11, and Philadelphia was in first place.
Yeah, that's.
He doesn't go down with that knee injury. Joker is not the league MVP.
Doubt.
Joel
I think
Embiid
Joker
is.
pretty much won it by default last year. Harden. I think Harden get hurt or something like that towards the end of the season.
Yeah,
Kevin
KD
Durant
played half the season.
Kevin Durant got hurt. Like all the guys that was top 5, just fell out of the MVP conversation due to some other shit. But best 3-0 team,
no question
best
about
3-0 team. I just talked about this. The 3-0 teams in the league right now are the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Panthers. Yep. I think the Rams, man. You got to give it to the Rams, best 3-0 team. What you got, huh?
Absolutely, and I've said this to you before, Beast. Do not sleep on Cal. I'm not sleeping on Carolina. Just give them a shot. That's all I'm asking
watch.
you to do.
I'm gonna take a peek through the door and I'm gonna see what's up.
That's all I'm asking. I ain't asking you to come in. Just peek your head in the door and see what them boys doing because they look like they the real deal.
We got last one. Last one. It says better offensive talent. Browns or the Cowboys. Which one?
Oh, that's the Cowboys. They loaded in terms of offensive talent, but I think that what the Browns have collectively and how they work in it, I think that they're a better team than the Cowboys.
I could agree with that. Better team as a whole, defensively, offensively. I think it's the Browns. But if you're talking about just strictly offense, I gotta go Cowboys. The personnel that they got with those two tight ends, those two running backs, even though Browns got the upper hand on the offensive line. And they may have an upper hand on running backs too, but the way Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott has been playing over these last few weeks have been tremendous. And I would have to say offensively, the Cowboys, but as a whole team, Cleveland. I'm trying to tell you, Cleveland got everything they need to succeed this year. So if they don't, it's some pressure being applied. Yes, it is. I love everybody that joined us today for this show. We're going to wrap up the Sports Behavior Podcast. You want to get a hold of any one of us, hit up our socials. That's Chilltown32. I'm OG the Beast everywhere and anywhere. Go ahead, take us home,
Take it light, but take it.
Appreciate y'all stopping through.